Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sayyida Alicia Batul and today I'll be discussing the Mundell-Fleming Model, a key framework in macroeconomics. Introduction. The Mundell-Fleming Model is an economic framework that extends the familiar ISLM model to open economies. It analyzes how monetary and fiscal policies impact a country's output, interest rate, and exchange rate, considering international trade and capital flows. Why I chose the Mundell-Fleming model? Because this model explains the real-world economic issues that many countries, including Pakistan, face. Things like inflation, currency depreciation, and trade deficit are central concerns for policymakers. The model shows how exchange rate regimes influence these outcomes, making it a practical tool for understanding current economic strategies. Model assumptions. The model is built on three main assumptions. First, it's a small open economy, meaning it takes the world interest rate as given and does not influence the global financial market. Second, there's perfect capital mobility, which means investors can move funds freely across borders, so the domestic interest rate is equal to the global interest rate. Finally, we analyze both floating and fixed exchange rate system to see how different regimes affect policy outcomes. Core equations. In first equation, output is determined by the consumption, investment at world interest rate, government spending, and net export will depend upon the exchange rate. And the second equation shows how the money supply and demand relate to output and interest rate. The IS curve, goods market equilibrium. The IS curve is present between the exchange rate and output, and it's downward sloping, which shows an inverse relationship between the exchange rate and output. So when the exchange rate depreciates or falls, the net export increases, due to which the output increases. The LM curve, money market equilibrium. The LM curve is vertical because the given world interest rate, only one value of y equates money demand with supply regardless of E. Equilibrium in the Mundell-Fleming model. Equilibrium occurs at the intersection of IS and LM curves. This determines the economy's output level and exchange rate. Understanding this intersection helps us to analyze how different policies work under different exchange rate regimes. Floating and fixed exchange rates. In floating exchange rate system, the exchange rate is determined by the market and can fluctuate. Under a fixed exchange rate, the central bank maintains the exchange rate at a set value by intervening in currency markets. The effectiveness of fiscal and monetary policies depends heavily on which system is in place. Fiscal policy under floating exchange rate. Under floating exchange rate, expansionary fiscal policies such as increasing government spending shift the IS curve to the right. This increases demand for the domestic currency, causing it to appreciate. However, this appreciation reduces the net export, which cancel out the stimulus, so output stays roughly the same. In short, the fiscal policy becomes ineffective. Monetary policy under floating exchange rates. Now, if the central bank increases the money supply, the LM curve shifts to the right. This causes the currency to depreciate, making exports steeper and boosting the net export. As a result, output increases. So, under floating exchange rate, monetary policy is effective in influencing output. Fiscal policy under fixed exchange rate. With fixed exchange rate, if government increases the spending, the IS curve shifts to the right, putting upward pressure on the exchange rate. To keep the rate fixed, the central bank must sell the domestic currency and buy foreign currency. This increases the money supply and shifts the LM curve to the right. The result, output rises. So the fiscal policy is very effective under the fixed rate. Monetary policy under fixed exchange rate. If the central bank tries to increase the money supply, the LM shift to the right and the currency starts to depreciate. To keep the exchange rate fixed, the central bank must reverse the policy by buying the domestic currency. This pulls the LM back to the left. So the net effect is zero. Monetary policy is ineffective under the fixed exchange rate. Real-world example, in Pakistan we have seen both floating and fixed exchange rate regimes. Recently, the State Bank of Pakistan adopted a market-based exchange rate which made monetary policy more effective. For instance, during 2022 and 2023, allowing the rupee to depreciate while tightening monetary policy helped to reduce inflation and improve the current account deficit. Conclusively, the Mundell-Fleming model is a powerful tool for understanding how macroeconomic policies operate in an open economy. It clearly shows how the choice of exchange rate regime, floating or fixed, determine whether fiscal or monetary will be effective. This model is essential for crafting smart policy in globally integrated economies like Pakistan. Thank you for watching this video.